One, two, three, four, five. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't wanna.
Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
Welcome back to part number 2 with Mono here. We're gonna get into it, dive in right into the situation. No, I'm fine. Okay, so something that I want to talk to you about is I have here on my notes around 2020 and 2021 is when you kind of figure it out, like kind of like went towards the being pansexual.
Yes.
So how did that happen? Like, how did that come about? Like,
Okay. So to clarify, I've been aware that pansexuality existed, this entire time I've been on this little journey of mine.
mm-hmm.
And I just always thought, oh, that's cool. I thought it was cool. And, on the way I was learning more about it. And so I made sure I learned about all the sexualities, just so if I meet someone like that, I don't just, I don't offend them or whatever, or
Makes
assume
sense.
something. And it was somewhere when I was in I think it was like some sort of summer thing, whatever. When I was in a classroom with a bunch of other people, and I was just chilling at a desk or whatever, wherever I was, and I kind of just had like a what's the word? Just a moment of just acknowledgement, just like, wait a minute. I feel attracted to pretty much almost everybody in this room. That's probably just my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I can date literally anybody in this room.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, could I be pansexual? Because the idea of it was on my mind for a few days before that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, had a bit of an epiphany. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy frick. And I just got like super giddy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I eventually got home from that whole thing, I ended up telling my sister, because I didn't know how to tell my mom about it yet. I had to, build up the courage because, I care about what my mom thinks. But I told my sister and she was like, you know what? That actually fits you. Like, I think when it comes to sexuality, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it can play into your personality sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And she said me being pansexual, when I, fully explained it to her, she's like, that fits you because, you seem to, just get along with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
like if you if you like really get to know me and I actually put in the effort for you to see, a good side of me, all that jazz. I can get along with people, I try to stay away from drama. I try not to get into drama, and whenever there is drama happening, I'm just kind of on the sidelines, just kind of watching it happen. Because that's how it is for me at work. Everybody, I don't know if everybody, but like everybody knows me, but I never really get into any drama. Like, I think I'm in the good books for pretty much almost everybody. I don't think I've given anyone a reason to not like me,
right.
And I kind of want to keep it like that. But I think for me, my sexuality kind of plays into my personality, because for me, I don't care what your gender or your gender identity. There we go. I don't really care what it is, as long as you like me, I like you, we just click. I don't care. We can be a thing, if you're willing to make it work and all that jazz. Now, if you're a big old jerk, then yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah. So I'm actually like glad that, I guess, like you said, you read into it, you figure out all like different sexual orientations and stuff. One thing, and I'm not trying to be like rude or like offend anybody, but one thing is like, what is the difference between pansexual and bisexual? Because it's like you'll pretty much will date both genders.
Yeah, because I was at that point where I was questioning it. Because I feel like anyone who's especially new to the LGBT might ask the question. And and I think it's just good for people not to get offended unless the person is purposely trying to be offensive.
Right.
But I know you're just asking me, so you can know more. So I'm not offended. It's always good to try and
ask.
Ask, and since I'm the person being asked the question, it's always good to take those questions gracefully and not just immediately just flip out.
Right.
Because that's not very professional.
Yeah. So if you can explain to me, if you're able to, if you can, like,
I have a good idea.
like, yeah, I guess, like, make it make sense to me, you know,
Yeah. Okay. So basically,
or to us, for our listeners.
yes, yeah. So basically, the best way I can explain it is, of course, being bisexual, you're attracted to either a male or females, right? It bi because bi means two, but pan, the word pan itself, it means like all or something like that. It basically means I only not only like men and women, but I like anyone beyond that spectrum. Like, for example, you can be non-binary, you can be a trans woman, a trans man. You can literally be like, I don't want to just say anything, but I feel like that's the best word to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was, coming to terms with me being pansexual, I had to learn how to word it differently so that people don't get the wrong idea. Like, for example, I don't want to just say, oh, I can like anything, because that just sounds weird. Because like when you mean like anything, like what, you just go make out with a tree or something,
Right, right.
So I had to learn how to phrase it differently just so people can understand it.
Right.
Because you have to realize, just because you're this thing, people are not just gonna automatically understand. Like, you yourself, you have to explain it to them. Like, try to find a way, to explain it to yourself to where you can get it, and then you can try to make it to where other people can also get it.
Right.
That's also, something you got to consider. And a best way I can explain the difference between bisexual and pansexual, you can say you have more options depending on, like, how you're feeling. Now, obviously I got, types, I like my big girls, I like my big boys, all that jazz. And, of course, I got preferences, but overall, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best way I could just say it. I just don't care.
And it's crazy, that it's been this long and I haven't actually, like, looked it up. Because, like you said, like you said in the other episode, it's in the internet. You know what I mean? You can always Google it and search shit up and whatnot.
That's how I knew.
I just haven't. And honestly, I haven't done it just because I'm not interested. I'm just lazy.
I get that.
But not like that. You kind of explain it. I don't know. It's I don't know. This episode might take a little detour because now that you explain it, like, that's kind of like me. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking about it, like, because it's just I've never really understood what pansexual is. I never understood what asexual is. I know it's something, and if that's who you are, that's who you are.
Actually, recently I been able to learn what I was able to learn more what asexual meant, because the A spectrum, what it's called, it varies, but usually when it comes to just because I follow a YouTuber and she was able to break it down easier so it can make sense, because she recently came out as asexual and I think aromantic or something like that. She's on the A spectrum.
Aromantic. I've heard about that, but I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, I'll just stick to asexual because I don't want to confuse you. Because I'm not gonna say I'm an expert, because I'm definitely not. I'm just gonna try to explain it the best I can.
Right.
Like, I'm still gonna be all like, hey, don't take my word for it. Like, for example, as a pansexual, I can't speak for every pansexual ever.
Right.
This is all from my own experiences. Maybe someone who
like
is
a point of view.
Yeah, like if someone else, like some other pansexual, they can probably explain it maybe even completely differently than I could. Always take what I'm saying with a grain of salt.
Right.
Just know this is my experience. Just know this is just for me. I can't speak for every pansexual ever. I can't speak for every girl ever. I can't.
Yeah, for sure.
You could just take mine as
you can only speak for yourself.
Yeah, I can only speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really speak for anyone else unless they explain it to me themselves, and even then, it's them, not me.
Mm-hmm.
So just always keep that in mind. Like, you hear that, listeners, right? Just always keep that in mind. Don't just hear it from one person and think, oh, that's all it is. No, just try to keep an open mind, and whenever you can, just it's okay to ask questions. It's just how the person takes it, all that jazz.
Yeah.
So again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, but consider this, I guess, your introduction into it, I guess.
Mhm.
That's what I can say. But back to what I was saying, asexual, for most people, it can be where you're in a relationship, but like say you either don't like sex or you're just not interested. Like say some people are like,
sorry, what's that again? For asexual?
for asexual,
Okay,
being
okay. Sorry.
being asexual, like it can either mean that you completely just detest the idea of sex, or you're just not interested. Like you don't, maybe you just don't see the point of it.
But who are you into gender wise though when you're asexual?
I think with that, I think
I
don't think the whole
like I'm gonna say it, but I don't want to say it like it's coming from a nice place, a safe place, guys. Okay, but like, is that like an add-on? Like, oh, I'm straight, but asexual, or I guess a lesbian and asexual type.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you can say that, because I don't think asexual really plays into gender. Again, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, please. Right. But from what I've heard and all that jazz, I don't think it really plays into gender. It plays into your sexual relationship. Yeah, your identity, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it plays into.
Oh, okay.
If that makes more sense.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It just. I knew that was a thing. Like, I knew that I actually personally have a friend, and she only has like sex with her partner for them.
Yeah, because
for herself.
Because because again, they either detest it or they're just not interested. But some people are willing to do it just to pleasure their partner. They probably get off on that. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
If at all, but
Yeah, I dated a girl, and she like the way that she would like in quote like get pleased. It's just like by pleasing me, but like I was never allowed to like touch her, and I never understood that, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, because she possibly maybe didn't feel comfortable, or she just wasn't interested in it at all.
Yeah, and it makes sense now.
Which it is a thing. Some people don't.
Yeah. That's why it has like in quote its own category. Asexual.
Like the A spectrum.
Yeah.
And that's why for a while people didn't understand asexuals, because with how the culture is, it's very sexual.
Yeah.
And even with it within the LGBT itself, pansexual, bisexual, gay, all that jazz. It's sometimes surrounded, the sexual aspect of stuff. And so people who are ace or a part of that may feel a bit ostracized from the group because of how different they feel, how different they see things, and it's kind of sad when you think about it. And so it's good to try and spread the word, saying, hey, even though we don't have the exact same views as you, or feel the same way, that shouldn't make you feel any different. You're still a part of the LGBT. And again, just it's kind of sad how common it is, but I feel it's good to try and get people more informed about it, so it's for them to understand more. Because I was always supportive of it, I just never fully understood. And I'm glad now that I do understand it.
Yeah, me too. Because it's like, hey, there's a saying where they say, you learn new things every day, and I learned what asexual is, and I learned what a pansexual is. Because I knew, it meant something. I just didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, like I knew it meant something. Like, but I was willing. Thank God, I was willing to learn about it, because I could be pretty stubborn.
And since you learned about it, this is on you for like your mom and whatnot. Has it been easy to tell her, like to explain it to her so she can understand?
Like at first, when it came to me coming out to her as a lesbian, that was very hard, because again, I didn't know how she was gonna react.
Right.
But I remember one time where I explained to her what it was, either asexual or pansexual. It was either one of those, because I remember, because I think with pansexual, I remember we saw a post of Deadpool when he, when they, I guess when the creators announced that, hey, he's pansexual, because of course he is. And then like he was on like a unicorn with like the pansexual flag.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh. And, I explained it to her,
But it was, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't, at the time, I don't think I explained it very well, but I think now she has a better understanding of it.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think one time I tried to explain to her what asexual meant. Again, don't think I did a good job. Because she looked
more
so confused. Yeah, she looked so confused because but again,
you tried.
Yeah, I tried. I really did.
Yeah. And I think it matters is that you tried to explain it to her because she's trying to understand. And at the end, it's like, that's all that matters. You're trying. And, okay, so whenever you went through your whole, like, bisexual, like, wait, am I bisexual? Did you talk to her about that too? Or do you just, like, talk to her about, like, oh, I'm a lesbian, and then, like, jump that, and it's like, I'm actually pansexual now.
Yeah, because
that seems like it was like a
bit of a jump. Yeah,
yeah, it seems like it was like a 3-4 year gap.
Because I think if I'm thinking back at it, I don't know if I ever brought it up to her that I felt like I was bisexual. I probably did. I don't remember though, but I do remember coming out to her as pansexual. By that time, she was more understanding of it.
Right.
Yeah, I guess she understood that I was going on my own journey, but I genuinely don't remember ever coming out to her as bisexual. I kind of kept that part to myself a little bit because I was still figuring it out and all that jazz.
Right, and I think that's okay. Like you mentioned in the last episode, saying like it was stupid for you to keep stuff. Me personally, and I don't know if I'm wrong for saying this, but me personally, I don't think it's stupid that you decided to keep that to yourself because I feel like it's our life, it's our process, it's our feelings, and if we're not ready to tell the whole world or even just one person, it's because we're still processing it. And if it took you, let's per se, a whole year to come out and be like, oh, I'm gay, like that's how long it took you. You know what I mean? And nobody can rush you on doing stuff.
Yeah, because I heard of a story where like a 60-something, 70-something-year-old man finally was able to come out as gay, and I'm like, that is great.
A couple episodes ago, I believe it was OT, if I'm not mistaken, I talked about like my uncle. I had a family member, and he like waited till he was like 50, 60 to finally be like, I'm gay. And him coming out that he was gay, sadly got him killed because it's where my family's from. Being with the same sex is not an okay thing. They're very old school Mexicans, and it's just like that shit don't fly. Yeah. So it makes me very happy that a younger generation it's having like a better luck on coming out and stuff.
Yeah, because when it comes to that, like I've luckily haven't experience any discrimination against it.
Yeah,
like I mean, sure, I'm not shouting it off of the rooftops, but the people who I've been open about it too, I haven't faced any discrimination, and I'm happy that I've been lucky enough not to face that. If I have, then I didn't notice, but again, I'm just happy to be lucky enough so I don't have to experience that. But I know not many people are as lucky as I am.
Over the weekend, Jonathan as well. Over the weekend, we did a lot of like research just to like learn. There was like a lot of riots against the gay community, and it started, like, if I'm not mistaken, it started off in New York in
It was in the 90s, yes.
1980. When I actually have it, but it was like the first riot.
Yeah, it was the first time we actually, like, my community, we were always there, but that's the first time when we actually started a riot and we started getting people's attention about it.
Yeah, it was in 1960.
Yeah, it was in like 69 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it was at I forgot where it was.
It was in the Stonewall.
Yeah, Stonewall
riot.
Stonewall riot. That was like one of the first, like one of our first.
June 28, 1969. That's why June is Pride Month.
Yeah, that's why it's our Pride Month, because that's the first time we actually started speaking out. Because of course, sure, peaceful protests can't, like, that's okay, but sometimes you need to start a riot to get your point across. And for us, we were literally going to jail, we were literally getting harassed, we were literally getting killed, and we basically just said screw it at that point, and we just started going. We just started an entire
But
riot. And we
the-
started getting everybody's attention.
You know, the reason why a riot even happened, though, was because the police felt like they lost control of, because it was a protest.
Yeah, and
they felt like they were losing control. So then it became into a riot. So that even sucks. And that was from 19. That started in 1960. You know, like the whole thing. But it technically the issue started in 1950 all the way to 19 like. Yeah, till today, actually.
Yeah, because the issues has always been there. As long as we've been, like, we've always existed. Mm-hmm. But, like, you know, of course, the issues has always been there. It's just that then and there, when the riot actually started, because, again, if it wasn't for that riot, I probably wouldn't have as many rights as I did. Because if I remember correctly, back in 2014, 2015, we just got the right to marry. Yeah. Just to marry the one we love. But
that's in 2014. In 1952, being a homosexual was labeled as a mental illness.
Yeah, it was, because for some reason they thought, it was a mental illness. They thought, they genuinely thought something was wrong with you.
Can you believe that it took that long? From 1952 to be like, oh, you're just crazy, to 2014 be like, you're no longer crazy, you can date the same gender. You can
literally marry the love of your life.
Yeah, and you know, in 1956, Evelyn, I don't know what's her is it Hooker? Evelyn Hooker? I don't know. She did a study, and she studied a lot of people, and she studied gay men and straight men, and she finally was able to prove that being gay has nothing to do with like your mental illness.
Yeah, and it's sad that people for some reason thought it was because of that. And I think the main reason why they thought it was a quote unquote illness is because, well, for one, the United States is based off of the Christian religion. Yeah. It's mainly based off of that. Even though we got plenty of religions now, because, you know, we get people from all walks of life. That's what makes America America. But back then, people were very Christian based. So when it came to anything that questioned their beliefs, you know, they're all like, you know, it's wrong, you know? Like, it's like a little bit off topic, but it's like when that one time where that one high school teacher was trying to teach his kids about evolution. Mm-hmm. And if you're aware, evolution goes against the idea that God created everything. Right. Because, you know, God created the first man, the first woman, but evolution, it's completely different. It's saying how we came from monkeys and stuff like that. Right. And literally, and I think when the parents found out, they literally took him to court. And it brought up an issue, basically. Yeah. And it's sad it had to be like that simply because he wanted to teach his kids to, sure, it's okay to be proud of your religion, but you have to keep an open mind because there's different people out there who doesn't believe the same thing as you. And while I'm not saying I'm a diehard Christian, but like, you know, my heart is still there. Yeah, but I'm not like a diehard Christian, but you know, my heart is still there. You know, my beliefs are still there, but mm-hmm. I'm keeping an open mind because other religions and other stuff like that, it interests me. Like it's interesting to me.
Yeah, and I understand. Like, because I was born. I wasn't born. I was raised. I was raised in the Christian church. You know, and I still go to church to this day, and But Christianity is not who I am. It's just something that I do. You know, being Latina is who I am. Being bisexual is who I am. Being a Christian, it's not something that I am. It doesn't define me. Yeah, it's just something that I conveniently do on Sundays.
Yeah, it's just that sadly, back in like the 50s or so, that's how people tried to justify their actions.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's really sad when you think about it.
It is. But before we get into like that sad topic, let's reroute into you. No. Let's go back to, okay, so not you another episode you mentioned that you have a boyfriend now.
Yes.
Okay, yes, so does he know?
Yeah,
that you're pansexual?
Yeah, he's cool with it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very chill. He's freaking adorable.
And is that something that you feel like you have to let your partners know? Like,
yeah, because I feel like that should be a thing you should, like, I feel like you should be able to tell your partners that and should be cool with it. Because I mean, if that means I'm telling you, that means I trust you.
Right.
And like, you know, it's a sign of trust. And even like, I don't think you should get mad because, well, I'm with you. You know, because I remember my sister told me of how there was like this thing going around how like people who are bisexual are more likely to cheat on you or some crap like that because they happen to like two genders. And I explained to her, I'm like, well, yeah, but those are, I mean, I'm pretty sure those type of people exist, but it's not every bi person ever.
Right.
Just because like you cheating on your partner doesn't have to do with anything with your sexuality.
Straight people cheat on each other so many times. Like
it doesn't change that. Just because you happen to like both genders is not it doesn't define the fact that they can't keep themselves in their own pants. Okay.
Right. Now though, if you happen to be bisexual or happen to have a boyfriend and a girlfriend at the same time, that's not even being bisexual. That's being like isn't it like poly?
Yeah, poly.
So it has nothing to do with your sexuality.
Yeah,
that's
and actually, that's like a relationship. Yeah, that's a relationship thing.
So,
and actually, that's a little bit
or
something.
even like an open relationship. You know.
And actually, that's something else I've recently discovered about myself, that I may be into poly relationships, because it's always been on my mind, but you know, I haven't always been able to act on it because I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. You know, I have to realize that.
So poly is having
more than one one partner
at a time.
Yeah, like
there's
different.
Y'all like all in a relationship, right?
Yeah, there's like different types of poly relationships. Like
okay.
I forgot the names for it, but yeah, there can be one where like say 3 people in a relationship, or it can be where 2 people are like sharing one person. Again, forgot the names for it, but there's different types of poly relationships. Like for example, you know, I don't know if it counts as a poly relationship, but you know, like open relationships, all that jazz. There's different types, and it works into like different religions, like how a man can have multiple wives. You know, and like the wives aren't technically married to each other; they're married to the same guy. It can work like that.
Yeah.
And I just really like the idea of being in a poly relationship, but again, haven't really been able to act on it. But...
And I've talked to Jonathan about it. Like I personally sometimes like think about it, and I you know, like I said, I talked to him about it. I have thought about like, what if that's what I'm into? You know what I mean? Like, what if, like pretty much, long story short, we have talked about like bringing like somebody else into the relationship, like for like the both of us, I guess, to like, you can say share.
Yeah, because I personally like those relationships better, where everyone's in a relationship. It's not, you're not all just into one. Yeah, not really into it, but you know.
Yeah, but we did talk about it, and it just didn't seem like it will be like the right fit for a relationship. Because at the end of the day, like that's who I want to be with. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's more like I want to do it for like fun.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because again, I know because I realize again, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah, and
like everyone has like sort of a different idea, like a different idea of a poly relationship. Like, you know, like you said, you like it more like for fun. Some people like it more into like an actual, you know, relationship.
Yeah,
and because I've seen that before, I'm just like, holy. Because again, had a moment where it's like, oh, that's an option.
Yeah.
And again, I really like the idea. But again, I'm still like coming to terms with it because I'm you know, I'm still figuring out. But I'm definitely into it, but still figuring out. I just want to see, maybe
you gotta find your people.
Yeah, and I want to see maybe if I get into an actual poly relationship, see if it's actually for me.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes you gotta test shit out for it to be like, this is me and this is not me.
Yeah, because I feel like if I do that, it'll probably actually answer the question for me. Because you can always just say the idea of it. You like, but then you actually get in. When it happens, but then when you actually get into it, it might not actually be your cup of tea. So it's always good to just experiment, I guess.
It's like Wendy's busting out with a new burger. You're like, oh, that looks good, and you go and try it, and it's like, oh, this is trash.
This is absolute trash.
You know, like, and
like all my cholesterol.
Yeah, you know, and like you said, the idea of, I've never been in an open relationship. I've never been in any type of poly relationship. The idea of it does interest in me. The idea of it does catch my attention. Do I feel like I can do it? Yes. Am I really about it? Probably. But am I gonna ever do it? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, because unless you and, you know, Jonathan actually wants to, you know, go on the idea of it, then yeah, you know, whatever. It's up to you. It's always up to you.
Yeah, and we talked about it for a while, and we really got into like deep conversations about it. And it's just like, at this point, it's pretty much like if the situation presents itself, then we will talk about it again. Even if not, then we're good how we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's more like if it happens, it happens. If not, then like why are we gonna cry about something that we never even tried? You know what I mean? So it's just like and I feel like that's very healthy. You know, I feel like whenever you feel like you need to shake up the board sometime, I feel like you need to talk to your partner about it. You know what I mean? Because that leads to cheating. That leads to being disrespectful. That's
why communication is important in a relationship, because it can lead to misunderstandings, and complete misunderstandings can cause a relationship to end.
Like you need to talk to somebody about it. Like I have this friend, I've known her since like middle school, and I recently just talked to her about it. And she was just like, you know, she was like, bitch, no. And I was like, okay.
About the whole poly thing?
Like, cause sometimes like I just question myself. Like not, I've told Jonathan, like, I don't question my relationship. I question myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes I tell her, you know, I'm talking to her. Cause sometimes it is important to talk to your partner, but it's also very good to like talk to somebody that just
it's good to talk to other people.
Yeah,
don't just like get all your information just from one person. Always good to get other sources on it.
Yeah, and that's her, you know. And I talked to her about it, and she kind of goes through the same thing a little bit like me. See, I was an open lesbian / like bisexual. She was more like in the download. Like she kind of felt like she liked girls, but it was like
she wasn't fully sure. Like
like she felt like more. And this is me speaking for her. I might be wrong, you know. From what she told me, she made it seem like she was just like a little bit more curious than anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like bi-curious?
Kinda, yeah. But I talk to her and she talks to me and she just tells me that, like, pretty much what I told you. Like, at the end of the day, as long as we're okay, why do we need to shake things up if that's not what we need? And you know, she said that if we feel like we need to, then there's a lot of people that are into stuff like that. And that is true. That is very true. And I feel like surrounding yourself with people of your own kind makes you more comfortable and proud of who you are.
Yeah, because you should be nothing but proud of who you are.
Yeah, definitely. So so your boyfriend, he accepts you for who you are, which is amazing. You know, that's exactly what anybody wants in a relationship. Have you talked about like a poly relationship with him or not really?
Not yet, because we're still kind of ish in the early stages of our relationship. Okay. And because of work, we haven't been able to like hang out as much as we want to.
I know work.
I want to get a bit deeper in the relationship itself before I even like try to pull up that.
I get it. Yeah, no, yeah.
And
yeah,
even if he isn't, I'm still happy with him.
Yeah,
because that's actually one of the things I had to learn. Not only just with poly, just with anything, I have to learn that not everyone understands or like is into the stuff that I'm into, and I have to learn to respect that. Like for example, my mom, she was in a relationship with a guy who was very sexually active. I'll just say that. Not like while they were in the relationship, but that's what he was known for. Basically a swinger.
Oh.
A hoe. That's basically what I'm saying.
A man whore.
Yes, that's basically what I'm saying. That's basically what he was like known for. Like he wasn't, well, he probably was, but you know, whatever. But anyway, that's what he was known for. And she told me how one time he tried to get her to like try to do it with another woman, like, you know, 3-way. But my mom, like she said, she tried to do that when she was younger and she didn't like it.
Yeah,
she didn't like the idea of, you know, 3 people like, you know, relationship, not like, a relationship, but whatever.
Like a threesome.
Yeah, like, threesome, whatever. And
so it wasn't like a relationship, it's just like a sexual moment.
Yeah, and she didn't like it. And I'm pretty sure if she didn't like it sexually, she probably wasn't gonna like it relationship wise. Yeah. So, and like she said it herself, she wants like, if they're in a relationship, she only wants you and only you.
Right.
And I can respect that.
Yeah.
Because again, I understand and I had to learn it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you want people to accept you, you have to accept other people's interests as well.
Right.
Because it has to go both ways. You can't just say, hey, you got to accept me for who I am. But then when they try to tell you what they like or what they don't like, you can't be like, whatever. You can't be like that. You got to go back and forth. You got to give your 100% back and forth. And I think that's a thing I had to learn. Like, because, you're always going to run into people who has different views of you. So you might as well get used to it.
Yeah, for sure. So the, like the people, so you've dated 2 people so far in your life.
Yes.
And, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. I was going to ask, like, do you date other people that are just that? Like, the girl that you dated was just a lesbian, the guy that you date is just straight, or, like, are they also, like, bisexual, or...
I genuinely don't know. I have to ask my boyfriend, but I knew the girl I dated, she was definitely a lesbian. She told me that. But I like, maybe when I was lesbian, that was the only reason why I dated her. Because, I was still learning, so... Not the only reason why I was dating her, but that's why I started dating her. Because I liked her for, plenty of reasons, but that's kind of what started it.
Right.
So yeah, and like the only reason like maybe I was dating her was because I was a lesbian as well. But I haven't asked my boyfriend yet if he was straight or bi. So I'll probably have to ask him myself. That wouldn't
bother you, right?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't bother me. As long as you're attracted, like, for example, I identify as a girl, as long as you have an attraction to girls, obviously, we'll be able to date. Because again, I don't care if you're straight, a guy, straight. No, let me not say that. I don't care if if you're straight or if you're bi or whatever. As long as you're able to be attracted to me, and you feel attracted to me, and I'm attracted to you, and we have a good connection. That's all I care about. I care about personality more than anything. If that makes any sense.
So no, it does. It does make sense, or at least to me. One thing that I was gonna ask, since you are into, like, why am I talking so loud? If you are into, like, not anybody, but like, mm-hmm. you are into, like, in quote, body parts, like whether you have a vagina or a penis, like, mm-hmm. You're into the person and how they are, how they treat you.
Yeah, regardless of what they have, yes.
So, since you made it, I guess, pretty clear that you will, and I'm like you now, I hate saying anything, but like...
I get what you mean, though. I get what you mean, though.
Like, since it doesn't matter whether you have, like, a vagina or a penis, what you look for into a person then? Like, what do you look for?
Well, overall, again, I don't really care, but preference-wise, I am more attracted to, like, feminine, if that makes any sense. I don't want to say just women, because at first I thought I was just more attracted to women, but it turns out I'm more attracted to just feminine, Like, I figured out recently, not so long ago, actually, I'm into drag queens. Oh. Drag queens are pretty attractive.
Nice. And
I'm like, oh, okay. And
our first guest is a drag queen.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god. And I figured out I'm more attracted to feminine people. And I was like, because I'm pretty sure, of course, feminine guys exist, feminine women exist. And while I do love my masculine men and women or whoever, I'm more attracted to feminine.
Right.
And it's kind of weird because, again, like I said, I think in the last episode, I when I was younger, I always tried to avoid feminine stuff. Because I thought, because, mm-hmm. Because in my mind, I'm like, I want to be different. I want to be a tomboy.
Yeah, I get it.
Me over here thinking I'm actually making a difference. And I'm just over here like, no, I don't like girly stuff. I mean, at one point, I really did hate the color pink. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I don't like the color pink until this day.
I really did eventually hate the color pink.
I don't. My favorite color is black.
Any other color but pink, please. I mean, a little bit pink doesn't hurt, but like
Yeah, like a dot.
a dot, like a little bit pink again doesn't hurt. Maybe like a little dark pink, light pink. Hell no. But
For me, yeah, it's on your dress, the pink.
yeah, like a little bit of pink doesn't hurt, but too much, it's gonna kill me. But
Just different detour in the conversation. Pink for me is that it makes me pink. I'm really like white complected, so pink. I look pink, so it's like pink on pink, and I hate it. Like usually, like even sometimes red gives me like a pink color on my face.
yeah, I can kind of see it.
Yeah, so
A little blush in your cheeks.
yeah. But anyway, okay, so I'm sorry. Did you answer my question?
Yeah, I did. 'Cause I said, I said I'm more attracted to feminine.
Oh yes.
Yes,
Sorry.
that's why I'm more attracted.
I don't know why. Like my brain's just like.
I mentioned pink and
Yeah, right. I forgot the whole conversation. But okay. So more feminine men, does it mean like just drag queens or like
no, not just drag queens, because I learned that in a straight relationship, a woman can be the more dominant partner.
yes.
Like, because it's nothing wrong with a man that's more submissive to his woman or whoever his partner is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because I saw a tweet not too long ago where I'm assuming a guy who tweeted out like a guy who is more submissive to his woman or something is gay or something, and then another tweet was like, we've done it. Is it gay to be straight? And it's like,
Right.
cool. I'm like,
For
they've done
reals.
it. They made it possible. But yeah, let me just make it clear, like, to the men, masculine men out there. That doesn't make any sense. Any men out there, it's okay to be more submissive to your women or whoever your partner is. It's okay. If you feel that's what you lean towards, that's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you say that, because me personally, I've always, and it's like, and before I even say what I'm about to say, let me make it very, very clear. I'm not saying that Jonathan is not, in quote, a man. You know what I mean? Like what society would consider a man out there, like, punching kangaroos or something. I don't know. Like,
kangaroos are aggressive.
Like, me personally, I've always dated really like manly men, but too much of a manly where they're too abusive.
Yeah.
So like Jonathan, his manliness, in quote, kicks in when it needs to. Other than that, why consider him submissive to me? Not really. But he knows when he needs to be.
Yeah.
And it's like the opposite with, like, it's the same thing with me. Like, I'm very, like, I like to be in charge. I like to be dominant. I like to, like, per se, snap my fingers and what I say goes.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, no. But that's because I feel like I've always been like that because of who I dated. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to have that dominance because
if you don't, they're just going to step all over you.
Yeah, because they were too dominant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's a such thing as being too dominant, obviously, because, again, sometimes when a guy thinks he has to be manly, it sometimes turns toxic if it's not kept in check.
Yeah. And with Jonathan, he just knows when to be what. So that's shown me when to be what. So like a lot of people always think like, and it's a joke, but it's like a lot of people think that I have like a Jonathan by the boss, and like I say what I like, whatever I say goes, and it really isn't even like that. Just because
because I
people
can tell
think that I'm mean. People tell me that I'm mean. People tell me that I'm a bitch just because I have an attitude and I have a really loud voice, and I do. And I'm not gonna say that I don't. Like, I can be a bitch when I need to. And I can get loud when I need to.
Yeah, and I can tell by you guys' relationship, you guys sort of balance each other out a bit.
Yeah.
And it's really,
and
really
a lot
great.
of my friends have only seen me like cuss somebody out because I have to. And it's just like, I understand that that's how you see me in my previous relationships, but that's definitely how I'm not in this relationship because I am dating somebody different. And it's just like, and I don't think that makes him gay because he did, because just because today I decided to be a little bit more dominant, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna be submissive to her. Like, I don't.
That doesn't make
think,
him any less of a
yeah,
man or
because
any
it's
less
like,
of who he is.
yeah, just like I, choke him around, he'll choke me around. and like you said, it balances. Because why does he always have to be dominant?
Yeah, because
Like,
sometimes
why do I always have to get on my knees for him? Like, why can't he get on my knees for me? And I feel like that's why, like, I think that's a lot of issues in societies like that. And it's just like, whenever you see a gay man, it's like, oh, he's the girl in the, like,
yeah, like they think,
like, I'm
yeah.
gonna put my sister out there because she pisses me off. Like, she doesn't piss me off, but like, I want to choke her sometimes because it's like she's like, oh, she's the man in the relationship 'cause how she dresses. No, does she have a penis in between her legs? It's a vagina. She's still a girl. Like,
Yeah, it's
like that personally bothers me. Like, that personally bothers me because it's just like, it's the same thing with men. Like, if a man is like still dressed, like, in quote, dressed in boy clothes, but has a little curve to his, his act, his ways, or his sass. It's like, oh, he's the girl.
yeah.
No, he's still a man.
And like, because again, yeah, I think in relationships like you guys, even if in relationships where one person is more dominant than the other, I feel like it should in some ways balance out, because sometimes the person who is a dominant, they they sometimes have an off day, and sometimes they need their partner to take care of them.
Yeah,
because everybody has
yeah.
their off days. Everyone has their days where they just want someone just to hold them, just just to take care of them. And even if it doesn't always happen, like doesn't happen all the time, people are gonna have those days, and it's okay.
And what makes it okay is talking about it. Yeah. Talking about it with your partner, talking about it with,
make it clear to your partner.
And even if you don't have a partner.
Yeah, just make it clear to like maybe the people around you, maybe your friends, maybe your family, so they can understand you better.
Therapist, counselor, advisor, you know what I mean? It's being dominant is not who you are, it's who you like, it's what you like to do. Yes. At least that's what I believe.
Because there's many things in your life that is you, but like you can't let it define you.
Yeah. And if you're into that kind of stuff, like if you want to be submissive all the time, then you need to find you a person that's is okay dominant all the time. Yeah. And like me, I'm not okay being submissive all the time. Like it triggers me a little bit sometimes, and it's just like sometimes I have to like pull him down from his high horse, and it's like, look, like we the same right now.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes not only with just men, but with people, period, they sometimes need to be knocked down a peg. Because again, like I said, if someone has too much of that sense to themselves, like for example, men who are trying to be too masculine, it can turn toxic.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Like people are so like. How can I say, like so used to like judging people from the book, like the book's cover book or whatever, because it's like once again, talking from myself, from my relationship, from my point of view, a lot of people think that like I'm the one that holds shit down, but it's just like, little do y'all know, Jonathan has his attitude, like
definitely.
and people just see me and they're like, oh, she's loud, oh, she's rude, oh, she cusses, oh, she does this, and then they see Jonathan and this his little halo, and it's like, oh, look at this angel. Nah, fuck that. This man be crazy, okay?
this little angel.
And it's just like and I think people are so quick to judge people on how they are on a day-to-day basis, and it's like, y'all don't know anything behind closed doors. I'm not don't take it as Jonathan's out here being disrespectful all the time, because that's not what it is. But like Jonathan is a very, not even sensitive, but like a very like soft. You know what I mean? Like he knows how to use his words. He knows that he doesn't have to get loud.
He's more in connect with his feelings.
He doesn't have to be disrespectful for him to get his point across. And people see me and feel like I need to be disrespectful and yell to get my point across. And it's like, that's not even how it is. And that doesn't apply to me being bisexual at all. So why do people judge other people because they're a little too girly or they're a little too manly? Like, oh, that's the man of the relationship. So who's the man of the relationship if it's two femmes?
Exactly.
What about guys that are like in quote dressed like gangsters that are gay? You know, like, so who's the woman in that? Who's the woman in that relationship with in quote they're both men?
Yeah, it's like,
know?
yeah, you can't base anything off of anything at all.
And you shouldn't,
because like I think in a way, society's views sort of plays into it, because we always think if someone looks like this, they must be like this, and it plays into it. And I have to remind myself that even though sometimes I would see a person and I would sort of just assume how they are, I know I can't really do that. Sir, I'm sure I may have an idea of what they may be like. I can't just assume that's just who they are. I mean, maybe I'm right on the point, but maybe I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
So you have to keep your mind open to that.
Yeah,
because with how society is and just how people work, we're always going to assume things about people just from how they see them. We can't really control that. We can't just stop that. But we can't let it define our actions. We have to actually get to know the person better, just so we can understand them better.
Yeah. Yeah, and with that being said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. But I'm actually very excited to see your journey and see if you're able to ever try to be in a poly relationship. See what's all that about. And you're 18. You're growing. There's so much out there in the world for you. There's so much things that you can experience, and I can't wait for you to come back and tell us all about it. You know what I mean? I personally learned a lot, these 2 episodes with you. Hopefully everybody else did too. Like she said, the internet is there for us. So if you,
even though you can't trust everything you read on the internet, the internet is able to give you enough information to where you can understand it.
Right, definitely. And I will want to bring you back, probably not for this season, because I am trying to wrap this season up and bring other different topics in, but I would love to bring you back so you can keep teaching us about this kind of stuff, because there's a lot of things that I still don't know about,
and there's plenty of things I still don't know about. I'm still learning.
You really got me thinking about if I am really pansexual, because it's it never really it never bothered me, if you had. Well, after I found out that I like boys, you know what I mean? It never really bothered me if you were transgender, or if you were even disabled. That never really stopped me. I'm more like you. If I fuck with you, then we're and a lot of my relationships came from friendships. I never did dating sites. I never did a blind date. I never really put myself out there. Jonathan and I, we were friends for I think 3 years before we even started. So it's just I
gotta know you. I want to get to know you. Just the idea of online dating, I don't think it's for me. Because if I already know you, then I already know how you like. And then if I mess with it, if I mess with you, then totally, we can totally be a thing. Because me and my boyfriend, we were friends before we started dating. Me and my previous girlfriend, we were friends before we started dating.
I think those are the best relationships.
Yeah, because you already know them. You're not in the process of knowing them. You already know them.
Yeah, it's you kind of skip the dating, because it's the friendship was kind of the dating. You get to know them. Yeah, you know what I mean.
You're aware of their existence.
Yeah. So I would definitely like to bring you back. I'm pretty sure our listeners will appreciate that too. And probably the next time you come, you can talk to us about what aromantic is, because hell, I don't know.
I need to go into that more, try to search it out more, because I didn't want to go into it now, because I don't fully understand. So I want to make sure, I want to give a good enough explanation for those who may be questioning about themselves or just simply want to know.
Yeah. Definitely. So today I learned that what a pansexual is, what a asexual is, and it's definitely okay to be either or neither.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go. Okay, this is my second time trying to wrap it up. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. She does not have social media, but you know her name is Mono, and if you are wanting to contact her, just reach out to our Instagram page, AB Podcast. We also have a new YouTube page. Go ahead and make sure you follow. We appreciate the follows. It's also named AB Podcast. We also have a website that you can get. You can on our website you can see and all the platforms that we play on. Because we're more platforms pretty much almost every time. So if you check us out, remember the name of the song is Mambo number 5 by Bega. And this is pretty much it for this episode. Y'all be careful if y'all gonna take, COVID's still out there. I haven't heard anything about COVID, but COVID still exists. So if you're gonna take your shot, make sure you do your research on it. And if you're not gonna take your shot, remember 6 feet is still important. Wear your mask if you need to. And cooties are real, man. So bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.